Mogwai apparaît à la fin des années 90, et pour nous, comme pour beaucoup d'autres ados qui étaient trop jeunes pour avoir connu la scène techno du début de cette décennie, Mogwai a représenté une porte d'entrée vers le monde de la musique instrumentale. Depuis ses débuts en 97, avec l'album Young Team, ce groupe écossais a composé des morceaux déments au format éclaté. La force narrative de leur musique a été utilisée pour accompagner des films comme The Fountain ou Zidane, un portrait du XXIe siècle. Et si vous vivez en France, vous les avez peut-être entendus sur la bande-son de la série télé Les Revenants. Le groupe est peu bavard quand il s'agit d'expliquer sa musique. Il choisit par exemple les titres de ses chansons au hasard des formules qui sonnent bien comme « Je t'aime, je vais faire exploser ton école ». Mogwai n'est certes pas le plus gros groupe du monde, mais il fait sans aucun doute le plus gros son, jusque dans leur nouvel album Rave Tapes. Écouter Mogwai, c'est un peu comme souffler à plein poumon dans un ballon de baudruche, sans savoir qui du ballon ou de votre tête éclatera en premier.
That sounds good. we'll have that.
Yeah, I like that description. Our view of it would probably be a little less romantic, but I'm glad that that's a reaction.
I think with maybe more so with instrumental music, like even including a lot of classical music or dance music, it is more important to have it as a really clumsy and stupid analogy to say it's a bit like a story that unfolds, but there has to be some kind of movement and change. Some songs do work fine when you just come straight in with a melody, and then it goes into a different chorus melody and then repeats the original melody. That's one way of doing it. But having something that starts small and tiny and then other elements come in and disappear and come back in, it just helps it sound like a piece of, like an experience or a piece of music. Can that make sense? I don't know why it makes sense.
They're just different phases of what we do. So it's once one's finished, it's kind of nice to spend a bit of time at home and then relax and start writing music, and then that just all builds up to recording, then releasing a record, then going on tour, and then it's years since you've written some songs, so you go and write some songs, and it's kind of like the seasons. The leaves fall off the trees.
It's time for winter again.
It's time for winter.
And then, thank God, winter's over. It's time for summer. And then, oh, it's winter. That's nice. There's not really a right moment. You could spend years waiting for the right moment, and it would just never happen. You just got to
make a moment.
Make the moment. Book the studio time, and then start writing the songs.
We'll write music in our own houses, and then share the music with each other, and then get together and play and arrange the music. That's mostly how we write.
All the music that's on the album, there was a lot more music that we recorded at the same time, that we wrote and recorded, and then we chose a coherent bunch. There's some pieces of music that we wrote and recorded at the same time that definitely wouldn't seem coherent with the rest of it. The coherence is due to the choice of songs to put on.
And maybe if you've got an idea for a certain type of melody, not necessarily even the person that plays it, like maybe the person that wrote it, if Barry wrote a song, he'd be like, oh, this would sound good with a noisy guitar here, or if me or John wrote a song on guitar, it'd be like, it'd be good to have maybe a slow piano thing. So it's kind of just, and it doesn't always work. Quite often we'll try things and they sound rubbish, but then we'll just not use them. minimal than some of our other records. I think there's quite a lot of space in the songs. We didn't overload anything with tons and tons of tracks. I think that maybe that is how I see it. And then again, that's not true for everything. There's some songs with tons of stuff. Maybe MasterCard was one song that we had a long time getting it together, and even then it didn't. It was hard to. Yeah, that was quite a difficult one. It changed a lot.
I think with a lot of times when one of us brings a thing to everyone else, it's a bit more finished. But MasterCard, when we started trying to rehearse it, it really wasn't written properly enough. It still kept getting new bits added to it and taken away over rehearsals, and it was kind of strange. Putting up new sheets of paper, like, no, now we don't do that bit, go straight into this bit and then back up to that bit. Then there was a lot of moving that around, which does happen to other pieces of music, but usually more privately, rather than everyone going, what's going on? Really? That was a good bit. I think these days, with so much more access to music and so much more music available, it kind of builds up. The more music's made, there's so much of it, and a lot of it references music from the past. A lot of it's trying to do something new. I think music itself has become less temporal. Like, a lot of music made in the last 5-10 years could have been made in the last 40 years, maybe. Whereas it's not the case where you hear a scratchy old record from the 20s that's got a definite time and place to it. Yeah, I think music, just because there's so much of it now, is less pegged by cultural changes and things, because there's so much retrospection in a lot of things, as with, I suppose, all art forms. They blend with and play with what's happened before, or try to make something new.